Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Morrowind. This time we're going to join the first faction in the game that I plan on doing, and I definitely suggest that any new players do too, the Imperial Cult. And that guy will not let us join it, so we're going to go up here and talk to the chief of the faction. This woman, Laletia Varian. I don't know how to pronounce that. Now she wants us to join the Imperial Cult and become a lay member. Essentially, the way this works is there are 4 quest givers in the faction. Most factions have around 4 quest givers, some have more, some have less. This one is very simple because all the quest givers are right here. He is the most advanced, he is one, and then the 2 guys down there are quest givers as well. Each quest giver in this faction deals with different things, so you'll learn basically 4 different skill sets and different different manners of quests. And the way factions work in this game is you need to constantly be raising specific skills for that faction. So, the Imperial Cult, we're going to join it. We accept all citizens of good character and earnest faith. We ask only a one-time pledge of 50 drakes to aid us in our good works. Thereafter, the only cost of membership comes when you use our health, healing, and blessing shrines, modest fees which help spread the blessings of the Nine to those less fortunate than ourselves. Do you wish to join, or would you rather I review the Imperial Cult requirements and doctrines with you before you join? And I like to review the requirements and doctrines because that'll let you know which of the important skills for the faction. So here it basically says, okay, respect the magical arts, especially the colleges of restoration, mysticism, and conjuration. Unarmored is useful for them, and blunt weapons are another one that we will want to raise if we want to get these higher. Knowledge of enchantments and the gift of diplomatic speech, so speechcraft, are other qualities we're looking for in our initiates. We acknowledge the divinity of the 9 divines, Akatosh, Dibella, Arche, Zenithar, Mara, Stendar, Kirith, Julianos, and the Tiber Septim. We preach the 9 virtues. Basically, it's like a church sort of thing. Our emperor is the defender of the faith, and the empire is the worldly working of the divine plan. Our rules are equally simple. It is forbidden to attack another person of the Imperial Cult, and of course forbidden to kill another cult member. It is forbidden to steal from another member, whether by open theft or by covert pickpocketing. It is forbidden to trespass upon the private property of another member, understood to be anything behind a locked door. So, those rules that she just mentioned apply to basically every faction except for the Telvanni, which do their own thing. So, in other words, if you join this faction, if you're in another faction and then those factions, that faction makes you kill somebody or do any of these things for another person, you better make sure that you are not caught doing it. Otherwise, you will get kicked out of that faction. So we want to join this faction. Now we're a layman in the Imperial Cult, and I'm going to go over what that means here. So now that we're a layman in the Imperial Cult, we have this under our faction thing. We also have blades because we joined Chaos Cascades, and all of this stuff tells you our rank in the faction and what stats we need for the next rank and the favorite skills. And notice how it says it needs 1 skill at 10 and 2 skills at 5. Well, we have speechcraft. That's already at 32, and we definitely have 2 at 5 because they all start at 5. So, but those requirements will go up as we need to advance. Now, for the blades and other main quest stuff, that's unimportant. It does not matter at all. You know, what this need 1 skill at 30 and 2 skills at 20 is totally irrelevant. Now, each faction has different requirements, and so, like, in order to actually finish the Imperial Cult, one of the skills needs to be at like 90, and the other 2 need to be at like 45, which is just not going to happen. So usually what I'll do is I'll kind of let the advancement choke me off, and essentially, like, at a certain point I won't be able to gain quests because I'm not a high enough rank for them. So once that happens, I will move on to a different faction. For the purposes of this LP, I'll be focusing on one faction or one basically quest line at a time. What that means is I'm going to only be doing quests from one quest giver and for one faction at one time. So that way it's just real simple and you'll always know what I'm doing. I would actually recommend just grabbing as many quests as possible, just so that you're able to have them and you can do them when you're in an area. So for example, if I were to start a quest for the Imperial Cult, I would get quests from all of the 3 quest givers here. I'd get one from Kay, I'd get one from both of those guys downstairs. I'm going to start with one of the 2 guys downstairs in a minute, but I wanted to keep talking to her a little bit and just have, you know, and look at what she's got. Spells. So notice that she's refusing our services because we need to be a higher rank. Talk to her about advancement. You have the attribute and skills, but we haven't dedicated enough time and service to the 9 to warrant advancement. So now here we go. The 10 ranks are Layman, Novice, Initiate, Acolyte, Adept, Disciple, Oracle, Invoker, Theurgist, and Primate. So I believe that this woman here, who is the kind of highest person in the game, I think she's an Oracle. I can't really remember. Maybe background will tell me. Yeah, so she's the Oracle of the Imperial Cult. She gives us really actually very difficult quests, and I would actually recommend probably finishing all 3 of these people and then then kind of quitting the cult for a while, because her quests are really hard. This guy's quests are kind of more standard. They are Shrine Sergeant quests. You know, they basically, you know, carry messages, do little escort missions. You sometimes have to kill monsters. It's pretty standard. Most guilds, most factions have missions like that. And then these 2 guys are very different. They don't usually have, like, there aren't usually that many quest givers like them. This guy does volunteer almoners. So essentially think of it like a Jehovah's Witness. You're going around and you are asking for money, basically. I mean, essentially that's what it is. I'm gonna buy these just because they're nice. So this guy is the one I'm gonna do first. I'm gonna do all of his quests before I even start anyone else's, and that's just to keep things simple. He does lay healer stuff, and basically all of his tasks are about gathering stuff. They're real simple. All you need to really have is sort of a will to travel. And I like doing this guy's quest first because it gets you out of the cities and into sort of more wilderness areas, but they're very safe. And you never really have to fight any crazy monsters. You don't have to go into any real serious dungeons. They're not that exciting, but they're lucrative. He also teaches you you learn a lot of skills doing this. You get a lot of potions and you become much better prepared for later stuff. Also, he has a couple spells I'm gonna buy. We don't really need them per se, but I'd like them. I'm gonna buy this Cure Common Disease, and I'm gonna buy this Divine Intervention and this Cure Blight Disease. All of those will eventually become extremely handy for quests. Now, he also has a lot of potions, and he is sort of the first guy that will really give you a lot of he will give you a lot of tips on how to make potions. He kind of teaches you a little bit about how to do it, and he'll give you a lot of, and while you're doing these quests, you're going to be gathering ingredients and going to areas where they're common. So I will get the first quest right now, and I have to talk to him. I'm ready for a lay healer task. Mara be pray, so much to do and so little time. Please bring me 5 units of Marshmerrow for restore health potions. Balur Salvu, a farmer in the western Acadian Isles near Pelagiad, grows Marshmerrow. Bring him this potion as a gift, and he'll tell you where to pick the Marshmerrow. So now I'm going to talk to him about both of these things. His farm is on the road just south of Pelagiad, and he gives you detailed directions on how to get there. So you basically just will use this journal entry to find this guy's farm. Turn right, east, towards Vivek. Anyway, and now he tells you how to make a restore health potion. Combine 2 or more of the following cheap and common ingredients in the mortar and pestle. Marshmerrow, Wick Wheat, Corpwell Root, and Saltress. It isn't easy. If you aren't very skilled, you'll often ruin the ingredients and fail to make the potion. But if you keep doing it, you'll improve. So that is a really good way to increase your alchemy. This is the most basic potion, and you can just get these ingredients pretty easily. So that's something I'd recommend to do if you're interested in raising your alchemy skill. I'm not going to worry about it right now. And another thing you can do with all these 3 quest givers is you can quit a quest at any time. So that has absolutely no consequences for this guy and the guy next to him, but for Kay it'll have a little disposition hit. I don't care that much. I'm never gonna do this, but you can basically just be like, I'm not gonna do this quest, I'm not gonna do this quest. All these quests are really simple, and if you feel that one's too hard for you or you're not like well prepared enough for it, you can do this. It's really not, there's really no downside to it. No other quest givers, as far as I know, are this lenient. That's another reason why I suggest doing these first. So we're going to say we're still trying, and we're going to go do this quest. So now we need to go to Baller Salvu's farm, which is near Pelagiad, according to him. It's very easily reachable from here, though. We don't need to really do any fast travel or anything like that.
So what's the...
And one of the main reasons that... Okay, I'll talk about it as soon as this area loads. Okay, so if you'll remember from last time, I bought these scrolls, and I just bought the spell Divine Intervention. One of the best things about this spell is Divine Intervention will take you to the nearest Imperial Cult shrine. So the Imperial Cult shrine is this altar here. It's marked by this altar, so I will end up right here. And it basically precludes, so I don't need to cast Mark here in order to get here. I can just basically use a Divine Intervention spell once I'm relatively close to Ebonheart. There's also Imperial Cult shrines in nearby forts, so like Moonmoth Legion Fort here has one. I'm pretty sure there's one near Pelagiad. There's a fort next to Pelagiad, so I will want to be closer to Ebonheart before I actually use these scrolls. But you know, that's another reason, again, that this is the faction to choose for the beginning. So I wanted to mention that before I headed out. So now we're going to go towards Pelagiad. And this will be the first time we actually like go wandering in the wilderness. It won't be a big deal. It's very close by and we can get there. Another thing is, you know, the requirements of this quest are basically just to pick Marshmerrow. You need to get 5 pieces. So if you have 5 pieces of Marshmerrow, you could just turn it in to him and finish the quest. I don't recommend doing that though, because there's very good reason. Well, first of all, the benefit to that is you can keep this Restore Strength spell, Quality Fortify Strength spell that potion that he gives you. But this guy, Baller Salvu,
Want something, friend?
you might notice that he mentioned when I clicked this journal entry that he said, okay, yeah, he might share his knowledge. That's correct. He gives you a skill book, and the skill point is always more valuable than a little bit of gold. Skill points are very useful. And he also gives you a book that's worth a lot of money, so the book itself is worth keeping. So I like to go to do this quest the correct way, the way the game wants me to. And usually it kind of, you don't have to do exactly what the game says, but usually there's little benefits to doing that. Like, you know, now we're out here and I can pick some cork bulb at this plant, so I'm going to do that. And remember, he said to, you know, that the Restore Health potions required cork bulb, so you know, here's some cork bulb if you're wanting to do that. And since this is kind of a bit of a walk, I thought I'd mention that you don't have, like, all the factions start out relatively simple, so you know, it's up to you just totally what you want to do. I always recommend the Imperial Cult, and I've mentioned it many times, but it's not really, like, you don't have to listen to me. You'll still be okay. One of the main reasons I like doing these first is because I find them to be incredibly dull when you're not new. Like the rewards basically become meaningless for these quests, especially these really early ones from that guy and like the next guy. So getting these ones done early is basically just saving me time later when I want to do those quests. Just and you know, there are serious quests for this faction, so I would want to do them, and you have to be a high rank in order to get advanced quests from any faction. So you'll always end up wading through these kind of easy quests at the beginning, and so that's the game's way of sort of encouraging you to try to, you know, try to do many different factions and not just focus on one like I'm doing. But usually the like higher ranked faction missions are far more interesting, and you'll do a lot of really cool things. So it's always like I prefer focusing on one faction just because that way I don't end up boring myself at the beginning of the game with a lot of sort of trivial quests that I don't really like. So that's a personal opinion. I tend to really focus my energy on a faction rather than you know, anything else. So here we are at this farm, really easy to find. Just walked up here, and as you saw, I passed Vivek on the way. So if you remember, I basically said, yeah, you don't really need to take the boat because it's really close, and that remains true. How you doing, Baller Salvu? That guy has seen some business. So I gave him the quality fortify strength, and he says, okay, yeah, you can take Marshmerrow. Not a problem. There's a little field of Marshmerrow, and in regards to Synnolian, is that all you need? I definitely suggest saying, teach me something. He'll give you the Cake and the Diamond. It's a rare book, and it is a alchemist book. So, you know, he gave me a book, and
please join me.
Now I can talk to him about this stuff, where he kind of is like, yeah, these Imperials are a bit hypocritical. He gives you some advice. So that's really all there is to this guy. You just go around to these and pick 5. So you have to, you know, there's 1. I always pick 7 because then I have a couple extras. There's 2. And you can do this even without permission from the Imperial Cult. The NPCs, I don't think, really give a crap, even though this is technically their I guess, crop. So I'm just picking the Marshmerrow. Doobie-doo. So, okay, that's plenty, I think. Yeah, that's 9. I picked way more than I need. So, I'm gonna meet you back at the Imperial Cult Shrine. Whether you teleport there or walk back there, I'm probably just gonna walk back there just because I don't want to waste a scroll or magic. But I'll meet you back there and see you in a minute. Okay, we've made it back to the Imperial Chapels here. Now I'm going to turn back in the quest. And it was real easy. I mean, you saw how easy that was. And for that quest, we get an Apprentice's Mortar and Pestle, and we get a standard Restore Health Potion. Not a great reward, but not too bad. So here we go. He's basically teaching you about advancement, saying, okay, if you checked your advancement in the Imperial Cult, as you serve Mara in the 9, so shall you rise in rank. And Mara, you can ask any of the people in this area about all the different gods the Imperial Cult worship, and I find it really interesting because I love the parallels between it and the actual Imperial Cult of the Roman Empire, which had like a pantheon of deities and then also divine emperors and stuff like that. It's really neat. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we can ask him about advancement, and we have been promoted to novice.
Well met, Outlander.
So now he'll refer to us as a novice. So now we need 5 units of Muck for Cure Common Disease Potions. Farmer in Nisus, Abishpulu Shand, has a Muck sponge patch near his hut, and Chaplain Ogrel at Fort Darius has a deal with Shand to gather Muck there for free. Let me put Nisus on your map, and while you're in Nisus, visit Chaplain Ogrel and give him these 4 Restore Health Potions. Ask him if he'll teach you a few tricks. When you have the Muck, bring it back to me, and here's 80 drakes. for the Silt Strider Fair. So basically he just gave us money that we can use to pay for the getting to Nisus, and he gave us all this stuff basically just to get free skill points. He told us exactly where we need to go. We could do it for free. These are pretty easy quests, like I said. So, you know, nothing is left to chance. And any of that gil we managed to actually save. Excuse me, gold. I say gil because I play Final Fantasy. Any of that gold we managed to save, well, then we can put towards ourselves. So, you know, that's, you know, if we wanted to walk, we could save that 80 gil. I definitely don't suggest doing that because if you'll look at this map, Nisus is all the way over here. And if you don't know this game world is just enormous. I mean, when this game came out, there was really nothing quite like it. Like a non-random game world this size was really incredible. It's become more common with, you know, and obviously Bethesda itself has done a lot of work on that, but just, I mean, to this day, I still think Morrowind is probably the most interesting of the game worlds. They may have added a lot of neat things with the later games.
Where can I take?
So I'm gonna show you how to get to Nisus. You travel to. I always travel to Vivek here, with the boat from Ebonheart. You could just walk there. Again, it's not very far. And then I like to take the Silt Strider here, and you generally have to take multiple stops with the Silt Strider because certain places only go to other certain places. So the Vivek Silt Strider doesn't go to the Nisus Silt Strider, and the same goes with the boats. The Mages Guilds, they will go to any other Mages Guild that has a teleporter. Obviously, it's teleportation and not like, you know, riding an insect. So I'm gonna go ahead and bribe this guy and be right back. Okay, we're back, and I managed to get his disposition up to 100. It took a little while. So we're gonna travel. First, we're gonna travel back to our old haunt at Synnolian. And the reason I'm picking Synnolian is because I've already bribed the coachman there.
Special trip,
and it takes a couple hours to travel by Silt Strider or boat, so notice it's now nighttime. And from Synnolian, we can travel to Nisus for 28 gold. So here we are at Nisus. So we have two goals here. Our first goal is to get 5 units of muck. That's really all we need to do to finish this quest. But if we give Chaplain Ogrel these 4 restore health potions, he'll give us some tricks. So we want to do that. Well, I guess the first thing we'll do is we'll harvest this muck. I mean, it's just right here. So here's 1 muck. Here's 2 muck. I don't know why you'd farm this stuff, but hey, who am I to judge? Another man's livelihood. Okay, I think that's... can't seem to find the 5th. Well, it's in there. Crap. Well, this is fun. Jumping around in muck. Okay, there we go. So we now have 5 pieces of muck. Very good. And this is a temple area. So most of these buildings, you'll notice, are like kind of weird looking. That's because this is not... Okay, this is the farmer, by the way. Yeah, you come from this guy. From Muck, you know the Muck sponge just outside my door. You get it for yourself, take what you need. So that was the guy. There's more over here. I think this is actually the one we're supposed to harvest, but we just stole someone else's. It doesn't matter at all. As long as there's Muck sponge. Yeah, this is his house, so this is the one we're actually supposed to get. Anyway, so like I was saying, all these houses are temple affiliated. You can just tell by the way they look. The places that are Imperial affiliated are like castles and Synnolian style houses. So Imperial shrines are always in Imperial designated areas. So this is Fort Darius, and this is likely to have the Imperial Cult shrine that we want. I could just warp here from the with the scroll, but I'm not going to do that. And look at this! We have just had one of the many colorful glitches in this game. Luckily I didn't die, I just got sent back to the entrance of this place, but that can sometimes happen. That's why it's important to save a lot. So what was the name of this person that we were looking for? Ogrol. So this is actually, yeah, here it is. Here's the guy. So we gave him the restore health. You can ask him to return a favor, and he can do any of these things. We can learn any of these spells from him. I suggest restore speed, because being slow just sucks. So he just gave us a restore speed spell. But you can choose any that you want. So that was a free spell. So now we're going to head back, and we basically have to take the Silt Strider back. Warping there, unless we use the Mark spell, is not going to take us there. It'll take us back down there. So that's worthless. So I'll meet you back at the Imperial Cult Shrine back in Ebonheart. Okay, we're back in the Imperial Chapels here, and we're heading down to tell our friend down there about our success. So here he says, brought me 5 units of muck. Thank you very much. Here's a cure common disease potion for you, and a copy of the Alchemist's Formulary, a collection of popular alchemical recipes. And maybe this retort will be useful in your potion making. Practice, practice, practice. Speak to me again when you are ready for another lay healer mission. And remind me to check on your advancement. So he just gave us a book that gives us a bunch of recipes, which will just, it's going to be extremely useful for when we want to actually start making potions. He gave us a potion and a retort. We have a better retort than that, so we don't really care.
If I can be of any assistance, I'll be happy to.
I'm going to do the next quest next time, so I hope to see you then, and I hope that this has been informative for you. From now on, these will probably be less informative and more just me playing through the game, so I hope you're into that, and I will probably, change the way I talk a little bit. I'll be more kind of funny and, devil may care rather than so on point as I have been for the last few videos. So I hope you had a good time, and I hope that you continue to watch this LP. I really enjoyed doing it. So have a great day.